In this video, I'm going to talk about the Athletic Science Pack, the Rabbascan Science Pack, and how we're getting it back to Norvis for further investigation. Welcome to Laurence Plays Factorio Planetary Pioneers, where we're going to see how much we need to investigate before that's even possible. Looking at the tech tree, we can see that Rabbasca follows that fairly familiar pattern of discovery researchers gradually introducing you to how things work on the planet, building up to letting you make the science pack, and then presumably giving you the big toys afterwards. Here you can see us playing with the liquids, getting the purple rocks, access cards, turbofish, the protein shenanigans, and hey, what's this on the left? That looks like a new machine. Yes, in order to get any further with Rabbasca, we needed to start making machining assemblers. These are distinct from assembling machines due to mirrors, smoke, and perhaps a licensing issue? As the name somewhat implies, they are an assembler that can make machines. Lots of planets come with their own special machine that can make certain things, typically with a bonus. Vulcanus has the foundry, which makes metal things including belts. Fulgora has the EM plants for circuits and modules. Lignumis has the lumber mill for wooden stuff, and so on and so on. All of these typically give a 50% productivity bonus and sometimes have an additional complication like requiring fuel of some sort. The machining assembler continues this theme. It can build machines in general, ranging through inserters, boilers, crushers, assemblers, and it has an amazing 100% productivity bonus, meaning that for every machine you make, you get an extra one free. Clearly, this is a really powerful machine, but because it only makes buildings, it's not going to double everything we make. Most of our production goes towards science packs, and most science packs don't take that sort of component. Green Science's inserters and Purple Science's furnaces will absolutely benefit though, and we should upgrade those when we get a chance. There aren't even any huge downsides to the machine. It is rather power hungry, but when we take them off Rabbasca, that's not too serious. It's also relatively slow, with a speed of only 1. This makes it slower than a Mark III assembler, but it does have 6 module slots, so the power consumption and speed could both be fixed, at least to an extent. We'll never be able to use productivity modules in it, because everything it produces is considered a final product, but with the built-in 100% bonus, I don't think that matters too much. Once we get the chance, I think we'll ship these over to Norvis and start using them both for the science pack components I mentioned earlier, and also for producing the heavily used items on the Mall. It's also likely that other planets could benefit. Corundum's catalytic chemical plant production doesn't currently have any productivity bonuses, for example, and using these over there could lead to a big saving in glass, which is the bottleneck at the moment. So I tasked Sophia to produce a supply of these machines for us. Making them is fairly complex. We need a supply of steel, which he's making in these smelters down here. It's rather overbuilt, but that's actually my fault. I thought we were getting a lot more iron out of the ammo recycling than we were. There was a lot of it, but that was just because it had built up over time. Still, never mind, now we have lots of steel. It also needs lube, but that's really easy. Just process some energetic residue as if it was heavy oil and boom, lube. Gears are easy enough, and we've seen the red circuits before. That just leaves us with these purple brick things, which are apparently energetic concrete. I was being quite high level with my job assignments at this point. Mike was making access cards and all who sail within her. Sophia was responsible for the machining assemblers, including ingredients. So he's making concrete slurry the traditional way, from stone to sand and iron ore to crushed. We're getting that stone from calcite production as discussed last time, and also from some of the haronite decaying into stone. That slurry is then mixed with some energetic residue from the lakes to make energetic concrete mix, before being mixed with haronite and some Haring stabilizer to make those purple blocks of energetic concrete we saw earlier. Wait, did I say Haring stabilizer? I guess we'd better follow that one back as well. That comes from north of all of the fish stuff. Sophia and Mike were building at the same time, and Mike requested not to have to bunny hop over Sophia's construction areas because the fish have a limited lifespan, and so Sophia left him a gap. Up here, he's taking in calcite and painting it orange with a beta-carotene, and apparently that fools the rest of the universe into stability. Sure, why not? We're washing purple off one type of rock and then repainting it in orange. Standard Factorio. That's fairly straightforward, just a single machine running it for once. Combine all of that together and you get an excitable donut that can make buildings for our factory. Excellent. And why did we want those again? Oh yes, working down the tech tree towards the science pack. Grabbing these unlocked something rather weird, the ears core. Now we can set the volts to extract that secret extra option that I mentioned last week and get them producing the ears subcore. These are really slow to produce. The volts take 5 minutes to produce a single one, and so there's a good chance they'll unhack themselves in that time. Still, it's not the end of the world if they do. They'll continue the extraction of the ears subcore from where they got to once they're rehacked. These have some extremely powerful features of their own, but I think that deserves its own video, so we'll come back to it later. For now, we just needed to grab 2 of them to unlock the bunny hop engine. This spectacular device is a short-range teleporter, and currently the only way for us to leave Rabbasca. And so I tagged Tristan in for this one. He found a little space by the bus and started building. These things are pricey. The energetic concrete could be stolen from Sophia. He'd made enough to go on the bus as well as into the machining assemblers. Blue circuits are pretty straightforward. We've got an abundance of red and green circuits, and there was already sulfuric acid for cleaning the purple off the haranite. Electric motors, well, that's just lube and green circuits, which are already available, plus engines, and engines are just iron pounded into various shapes. Pretty straightforward. The only real note here is that there's efficiency modules in everything. Finally, the bunny hop drive needs an EARS subcore reactor. That's new. Fortunately, the recipe for this one is fairly straightforward. More electric motors and red circuits, and then one of those EARS subcores that take 5 minutes to produce. That's very much the limiting factor, but we did already have 2 because that's how we unlocked the recipe. He quickly made one of those, ran around in circles for a moment, and then disappeared. It turns out he'd made his way over to Gleba. That was the maximum range of the bunny hop drive at that point, but it gave us a way out, and more importantly, gave us the knowledge to finally make the athletic science pack. After all this hard work learning about how to make the pack, the recipe itself is really quite straightforward. It takes in protein shakes, Mike's making those, purple bricks, Sophia's making those, Haring gas, Tristan's mining that, oh, and red belts. We're not actually making those on this planet. So I guess we better start. I asked Mike to start work on a system to produce the red belts. Normally this would be trivial. We have at least some supply of iron over here, and in vanilla, red belts are just iron for gears, then more iron to make them into belts. But we're not playing vanilla. We have lignomis, and so we need to make wooden belts first. That means we need a supply of wood. Uh-oh. Some checking of recipes was performed, and we realised that the space style of growing trees would work well enough here. This means space gardens and a feed of liquid fertiliser. Fortunately, this is relatively straightforward. He filled up the space gardens with fresh fertiliser made from carbon, acid and water, and once they were full and running, the returned bioslurry could be recycled into replacement fertiliser with carbon and water. This acts as a sort of catalyst, allowing us to turn the carbon and water into a supply of trees. Finally, the carbon can be extracted from caronite ore by cooking it in a furnace, or also produced by cooking spoilage, Gleba style. Now that he had a supply of wood, it was easy enough to extract seeds from it for future generations of trees, and to make the leftover into lumber, and then into the wooden belts, and then a supply of iron allowed him to make yellows and then reds. The science pack takes 1 belt to produce 3 science packs. We're currently using packs at just over 1,000 per minute on Norvis, so if every single science was a Rabbascan one, we'd need 6 belts per second, and the currently constructed science area would only use about 3/4 of a belt per second. Being Mike, he's built a system here to produce 10 per second, which is massive overkill, as you can see by the completely stationary belt of belts. Now, to be fair, it's not just stopped because it's overbuilt. Production of protein shakes also appears to be struggling, and if we trace that back, we can see that there's a shortage of calcite going into the shake production, and that is due to a shortage of haranite. That's also starving the energetic concrete production, but I think that one can cope. It's not as hungry. I guess we're going to have to head out and hack some more vaults, even if they're getting more and more dangerous as the threat level rises. Once made, the science packs can be carried back to Norvis because, unlike the planet hopper and the full-size rockets, the bunny hop drive allows you to take a small amount of inventory with you. And so, we loaded Tristan up with as much as he could carry, and he hopped over to Gleba, then loaded the science packs onto a normal rocket to go up to a spaceship and over to Norvis. Once they were taken to our main labs, we were able to do a couple of very exciting researches. The document forging will give us a way to exert our will on the vaults a bit more effectively, and we also picked up EARS Core 1, unlocking the ability to put EARS cores onto lots of different types of assembling buildings. This is really exciting, and we'll look at both of those in detail in an upcoming video. Last time, I showed you how the energetic residue skimming was getting clogged up by overflowing green circuits. That does still seem to be the thing we have an excess of, but now we have priority splitters taking off any excess circuits of either type and feeding them to recyclers. After a bit of pummeling, that's giving a nice supply of iron and copper, which can be passed on to the bus or further recycled if there's too much of it. Any spare plastic is also being turned into protein shakers because we seem to only just have enough of those. I've also done a big extension to Mike's residue skimming because we didn't and still don't have enough red circuits. This was a simple copy-paste job, and so barely worth mentioning, except to note that it has brought us up to 268 assembler 3s, consuming almost 18 megawatts between them, well over half the planet's entire power budget. You can see the jump when I pasted it in about 40 minutes ago. We're also sometimes getting little bursts from other machines taking us right over the top. We really need to do something about this soon. But that will be a job for the next stream. We'll be back for that on Monday at 7:30 PM UK time as usual. Maybe we'll still be on Rabbasca by the time you watch this. Maybe we'll have finished it. You'll have to come along to see. If you'd like to try Planetary Pioneers yourself, you can download the mod from the Factorio mod portal. Use the seed 11111 to play in your own version of our little solar system, and let us know how you get on with it on the Discord server. I'll also be back on Wednesday for a solo stream, and these videos will continue to be released every Thursday and Friday, so please make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.